So most people think that controlling blood sugar is about cutting carbs or taking medication. But what if I told you that there are at least 10 simple, research-backed strategies, some you've probably never heard of, that can flatten your spikes, improve your energy, and even slow aging? Things as simple as changing the order you eat, what you do the moment you stand up from the table, or how you cook your rice. In this episode, I'll walk you through the top 10 smartest ways to control blood sugar, starting at your very next meal. So first things first, why does this even matter? You finish lunch, maybe a sandwich and some chips, and 20 minutes later you feel foggy, tired, maybe irritable. Most people just shrug it off, a food coma. But what's really happening is your blood sugar is spiked and now it's crashing. And here's what's critical. Even if your fasting blood sugar looks fine, repeated post-meal spikes can quietly damage your body over time. Studies like the Dakota study that was published in 2009 showed that post-meal glucose levels predict cardiovascular mortality better than fasting glucose does. And up to 80% of the so-called healthy people, that's no diabetes, still experience significant spikes after common meals. And this was according to a 2018 study in Cell Metabolism that put a continuous glucose monitor on healthy volunteers. So those aren't cosmetic. These spikes accelerate aging, damage blood vessels, and overwork your pancreas. And that's the bad news. The good news, you can absolutely blunt them, and not with gimmicks, with real evidence-based strategies. So number one, move right after you eat. If you do nothing else, do this. Walking after a meal is probably the single easiest way to lower post-meal blood sugar, and you don't need to wait. Forget letting your food settle. The sooner you start moving, even just pacing your kitchen, the better. A 2022 meta-analysis in sports medicine looked at 7 studies and found that just 2 to 5 minutes of walking within 30 minutes of eating significantly reduced post-meal glucose. 10 or 15 minutes was even better. And what's happening? Muscle contractions pull glucose out of your body through GLUT4 transporters. No insulin required. Even standing up and doing calf raises or squats while you chat counts. So next meal, push your chair back and get moving. Number 2, eat your protein and fiber before carbs. This one still surprises people. The order you eat your food actually matters. When you start your meal with vegetables, protein, or fat, and save the carbs for last, you'll blunt the glucose spike by about 30 to 50%. And why? Because fiber and protein slow gastric emptying, stimulates GLP-1, and gives insulin a head start. A randomized controlled trial in diabetes care in 2015 showed that eating protein and vegetables before carbs reduced post-meal glucose by 29% and insulin by 46% compared to eating carbs first. So even a handful of almonds or a boiled egg at the start of the meal works. So veggies first, protein second, carbs last. Number 3, add a splash of vinegar. This is a weird one, but it works. 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in water before a meal can cut post-meal glucose by 20 to 30%. It slows gastric emptying and improves muscle glucose uptake. A small study in diabetes care in 2004 gave vinegar to people with insulin resistance and found their post-meal glucose was 34% lower compared to placebo. Just dilute it, don't drink it straight, and if you want to save your tooth enamel, use a straw. Number 4, cool and reheat your starches. So this is one of my favorite tricks, and no one expects it. When you cook rice, pasta, or potatoes, then chill them in the fridge overnight, some of the starch transforms into resistant starch, which your body doesn't fully digest. That means less glucose in your bloodstream and more fuel for your gut bacteria. Even reheating the starch the next day keeps much of the benefit. A study published in Nutrition Journal in 2015 showed that cooked and cooled rice had about 50% less impact on post-meal glucose than freshly cooked rice. So if you're making a batch of rice or potatoes, cook it ahead of time, chill it, then gently reheat it when you're ready to eat. Trick number 5, eat earlier in the day. The timing really matters. Your body is more insulin sensitive in the morning and early afternoon, and less sensitive at night. That means the same meal spikes your blood sugar higher if you eat it at 9 p.m. versus 6 p.m. A study in Cell Metabolism in 2018 put people with prediabetes on a time-restricted eating schedule, finishing all meals by 3 p.m. And what they found is that it improved insulin levels, it lowered oxidative stress, and better blood pressure, even without weight loss. And you don't have to skip dinner completely. Just try to front-load more of your calories earlier. Number 6, choose intact carbs and cook them right. So not all carbs are created equal. Minimally whole processed grains, things like barley, farro, steel-cut oats, they spike blood sugar even less than refined ones. And how you cook them also matters. For example, pasta cooked al dente has a lower glycemic index than overcooked pasta. A European Journal of Clinical Nutrition study in 2010 found that intact grains resulted in about 30% lower post-meal glucose when compared to pulverized flours. So choose whole intact carbs wherever possible and avoid overcooking them. Number 7, preload with whey or fiber. So another pre-meal strategy is to preload with whey protein or soluble fiber. In one randomized trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2014, drinking 20 grams of whey protein before a meal reduced post-meal glucose by 28% and insulin by 96% compared to controls. If you prefer soluble fiber, like a spoonful of psyllium husk in water, this also works by slowing digestion and absorption. These are especially helpful, particularly when you know you're about to eat a high-carb meal. Number 8, stand and move more throughout the day. Even outside of meals, breaking up long periods of sitting improves glucose control. In one study in 2012, they had participants alternate 30 minutes of sitting with 5 minutes of light walking. Their post-meal glucose was 24% lower than when they sat uninterrupted all day. You don't need to overthink it. Set a timer, stand up, stretch, pace around your office. Just don't stay glued to your chair for hours. Number 9, sleep and stress management. So even just a couple of nights of bad sleep can raise fasting glucose and reduce insulin sensitivity. A Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology 2015 review showed that sleep restriction increases the risk of impaired glucose tolerance and insulin resistance. And stress, same story. Cortisol raises blood glucose by telling your liver to release more sugar, as if you're preparing for a fight. So mindfulness practices, things like meditation and slow breathing, they've been shown to improve post-meal glucose. And this was seen in a 2016 study that was published in Psychoneuroendocrinology. So sleep and stress are not optional, they're foundational. And lastly, supplements. So if you've nailed the basics, there are a few that may help. Number 1 is berberine. It's comparable to metformin, lowering HbA1c by 0.9% according to a 2012 metabolism meta-analysis. Number 2, cinnamon. It modestly lowers fasting glucose, about 10 to 24 micrograms per deciliter in some trials. Third, alpha-lipoic acid. It improves insulin sensitivity and helps with neuropathy. And lastly, magnesium. Low levels are linked to poor glucose control. Supplementation helps if you're deficient. Just don't expect miracles and make sure you talk to your physician before adding anything. Okay, so here's your cheat sheet. Number 1, walk after meals right away. Number 2, eat veggies and protein before carbs. Third, take a splash of vinegar before eating. Number 4, chill and reheat your starches. Fifth, eat earlier in the day when possible. Number 6, choose intact carbs and cook them lightly. Number 7, preload with whey or fiber. 8th, break up sitting with movement. Number 9, protect your sleep and manage stress. And lastly, use supplements only if you've nailed the above. You don't need to nail all 10 perfectly. Even picking 2 or 3 can make a meaningful difference. And they stack. And remember, this isn't about perfection or fear. It's about rhythm, making smarter choices at the right moments. So the next time you eat, flip the script. Start with veggies, finish with carbs, then stand up, take a walk, and let your body do what it was designed to do. And if this helped you rethink your routine, subscribe, because I'll keep you updated with the latest data as it comes out. And until then, keep moving, eat smart, sleep deeply, and I'll see you in the next one.